Welcome back in, loyal KEW fans. We are just as always checking that we're live, and we can now see that we are indeed live. Sorry for the double audio there. We like to make sure these are being recorded for prosperity's sake. We will get things kicked off here then with a KEW that's focused more on the singles action. Last week, of course, we had the four-way for the tag belt, not for the tag belt, for the hardcore rankings, seeing the Budget Magician progress in that one. And here's a man who has been locked into the hardcore division for quite some time, but is now going to try and make a push again for the KEW Championship. This could be the start of something special here, ladies and gentlemen, as King Daddy makes his way down to the ring. The Irishman nodding casually at all those children in the front row. How many of them has he fathered? Only he himself and his lawyers, and maybe the women in the audience, know the answer to that true question. But he is a kid's favourite, if you like, a fan favourite as well, the King Daddy, and he'll be taking on the Shinigami in the power ranking battle, really. This one, an opportunity for either wrestler potentially to see their stars suddenly skyrocket. A win here will put the cat amongst the pigeons with the 5 and 6 spots, if you like, in the power rankings. Doesn't sound like a lot, ladies and gentlemen, to get that flustered over, but it is nevertheless the opportunity to push yourself up those KEW rankings, get a bit of form going. Of course, know that the next major pay-per-view is Big Bird's Bash. We're a little way away from it just yet, but you don't want to go into it cold, and it is an opportunity to build that momentum early here. He has got a tough task on his hands, though, with the Shinigami making his way to the ring now, the lights flickering as his dark presence and aura gives people a epileptic fit potentially. Should deliver these shows with a flash warning, shouldn't we really? But hopefully YouTube puts that in for us, or too late potentially now. Never mind, either way, ladies and gentlemen. The Shinigami, of course, has been on somewhat of a roller coaster as he made his way back from the coffin match with Tanj to compete in the championship belt match at the last main pay-per-view. Having lost that, he now falls back in the power rankings and knows that this will have to be a real opportunity for him to get some momentum too, as we spoke about with also King Daddy. If he can pull off a shock here against the Shinigami, that will really put the cat amongst the pigeons. But the Shinigami is a much favoured athlete for this one, and you can see why early doors here as he slams King Daddy down his tummy wummy in the corner, almost slamming the feet on the turnbuckle. And went for the neck snap there early doors, goes for the elbow, misses. Now King Daddy with a furious right fist there right into the temple of the Shinigami, rests him on the top ropes now, picks him up and lifts him high and drops him onto the back of his head, and some early damage there. You can see the Shinigami rolling around holding his head now, wrenching the neck again. The King Daddy does like to do this. He is a wrestler who targets specific areas, and he'll know that the Shinigami may have a if anywhere, a weak spot will be that neck. He keeps it pretty well padded by the turtleneck. Perhaps that's a indication that the neck is the weak part of the Shinigami. And has King Daddy found an area to exploit here? He knows if he can put the punishment in on the head and neck area, deliver those pile drivers, then it might be enough to put away a potential opponent. As the Shinigami rolls to the outside, an axe handle from King Daddy drives the Shinigami down. The green plaques and the emerald green being worn in the audience by the ladies, you can see there. No BFG on display this evening, so they'll have to make do with the hairy legs of King Daddy, which I'm sure will get many a lady in the audience revved up, if you like. Going after the head again. No, the Shinigami though reverses at the last second there with a swift punch to the guts, and he takes King Daddy and rolls him back into the ring here, rolls under the rope himself and comes back after King Daddy, targeting him here and going after the neck himself again with that neck snap, going for the cover early doors here, pushing the face into the matting and gets a 2 count early. You can see he doesn't look particularly impressed there with the referee's counting skills, and is now taking it to King Daddy with a firm stomps to the back of the head and the back of the chest area. It looks like, in fact, King Daddy might have been blooded by that stomp to the face. Maybe it's broken his nose here, ladies and gentlemen. Into the ropes goes the Shinigami, and a little punch from King Daddy there. Lifts him high, and another big breaker right onto the back area and the back of the head of the Shinigami. But he pops straight back up from it now. And now look at this, delivering the punishing blows to King Daddy, one after the other. And again going for the neck snap. Perhaps he sees King Daddy's neck as his own weak area. He'll fancy that he gets a chokeslam and bounces him by the back of his head off the matting. That might be good night for King Daddy. It's a smart tactic from both men here. You have to say, after the early fast start from the Shinigami, and then King Daddy taking over. Now the Shinigami's got a measure of control here in this one as he goes to the top rope, putting it all on the line. Massive backdrop there off the top turnbuckle. You can see he might have hurt his own back in the process. Now worshipping these dark gods, try and build up some momentum here, build up a head of steam, and really try and take it to King Daddy. Lifts him high now, and then he's not going to deliver. Oh, a sit-down pile driver, almost snapping the neck of King Daddy. He goes for the cover as well, hooks the leg, legs on the rope as well. The referee's not seen the feet on the rope of the Shinigami, but King Daddy kicks out at the last second here. And then, went for the choke slam, but King Daddy caught him out at the last second and gives him a low blow, driving the knee into the crotch. Well, the referee didn't stop it for that one. I'm surprised there, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see King Daddy, fingers in the air. Doesn't want to know the complaints of the KEW fans or the complaints of the commentary team saying that was a low blow. He's pretending he can't hear me, but we all know, ladies and gentlemen, what we just saw. The knee to the crotch of the Shinigami has shifted the momentum in this one well and truly. A disco punch there from King Daddy, and is he going to look to go to the top? He's taking the turnbuckle off now. This isn't a hardcore match. King Daddy's climbing to the top of that unprotected turnbuckle now. Surely he must have something in store from the corner, and he wants the Shinigami back to his feet. The Shinigami slow but obliging, and big elbow strike from the top rope there, delivering it right to the edge. And is he going to look to give him the pile driver and put the Shinigami away here? Gets hold of him. Oh, a little chin breaker there, breaks him away at the last second. The Shinigami can think himself lucky in that regard, I think, ladies and gentlemen. Without that, I think the Shinigami could have been in big trouble there. We all know the devastating impact of the pile drivers, especially the jumping pile driver from King Daddy. Is now his back is slammed into the edge of the apron there, the hardest part of the ring, and an axe handle to the back as well, delivering the continuing punishment to King Daddy, who now gets a nice swift reversal in there, dragging the Shinigami down by the arm on the outside, bouncing his face off the matting, and rolls him back into the KEW ring. Taking his time to slowly manoeuvre around the outside here, King Daddy. Maybe looking for a measure of a breather there. It looks like the Shinigami was getting a breather as well, but turned around too slowly, and now you see King Daddy delivering the blows to the Shinigami. Goes for the cover as well here. Gets a 1 count before the Shinigami rolls the shoulder casually to get out of that one. Tried to pick him up off the matting, but a little slow in doing so. Gets him the second time and rams the head into the canvas with a big right punch there to the face. And now look at this, taking the time to mock him in the corner. I'm not so sure that's wise, with the Shinigami back to his feet, and it almost looked like he was mocking the demonic kiss that he delivers as well, with the way he crawled out the corner there. King Daddy, he's not an opponent that you want to mock, the Shinigami. It's a risky tactic to take, but he's obviously feeling himself in this one here. He feels he's got the support of the crowd, and he's only trying to build on that momentum that he's got early doors here. Lifts him high again and drops him. Oh, coccyx first onto the knee, right at the Ajaxico there. Not where you want the knee to be inserted of King Daddy. And though he has the padding on, but what's he got under the padding? And now ramming the head into that unprotected turnbuckle. Come on, referee, you've got to do something about this here. Lifts him up, and spins out of it, and a snap DDT there from the Shinigami to shift the momentum. And now crawling into the corner is the King Daddy. Here comes the Shinigami, splashing him against his own unprotected turnbuckle. Goes for the cover, gets a 1 count as King Daddy rolls the shoulder. More work required from the Shinigami, who now goes for the eye rake here, picking him up from the mat, raking the eyes there. Big punch to the back of the head. Now gets on him. Demonic kiss, down he goes onto the floor. The referee's busy with the turnbuckle though, and this could play out to King Daddy's advantage here. But here comes a demonic chokeslam. Gets hold of him. The referee still messing around in the corner. Oh, King Daddy reverses last second. Oh, low blow! The referee saw it. He turned around and caught him at the last second. He thought he had the distraction. He's kicked out with the low blow. Goodness gracious me. King Daddy bloodied, battered, lost his temper, and went for the low blow to end the match. Goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see how King Daddy can defend himself after that one, but he will certainly try to. I really don't understand what he was playing at there, ladies and gentlemen. The low blow out of nowhere, ending the match. I think he thought the referee's back was turned. He turned around at the very last second, couldn't get away with it at the last second though, as he was witnessed the low blow, and the King Daddy thought he'd timed that tactic perfectly and ended a disqualification. A real mess of an end to the match, ladies and gentlemen. We'll focus on our next match for the evening though, that sees the KEW's champion. There he is, the Skeleton King himself, with the KEW Championship in tow. He'll be taking on one half of the tag teams, that is the Misfits. They are the number one contenders for the tag team titles. Of course, you'll remember last week they won victorious against the Power Couple, and he'll be taking on the Yeti. It isn't perhaps the match that many in the KEW thought that they would be getting here, ladies and gentlemen. Many people say that he's elected to be a fighting champion in inverted commas, in the fact that he's not really fighting anyone of any real caliber that's pushing him or really giving him the opportunity to defend that belt in any meaningful way. He will say though that the opponents that are being picked for him aren't being hand selected. They're the opponents that the managerial and the staff are putting in front of the Skeleton King, and all he can do is beat what's in front of him as he holds the title out for the KEW fans. A little shimmy there, look at that. He's loving being the KEW champion, and compared to last week, I'll say this, ladies and gentlemen, he came down last week, he looked stiff, he looked nervous. It's been a long time since he's held the KEW championship. He looked very concerned to be taking on the Budget Magician, but here there's a bit of a different shift in mindset. It looks like he looks focused, he looks mean, he looks moody, and he's going to have to be in order to take on the Yeti as the Mist enters the KEW arena. And the Yeti, of course, not adverse to pulling off a shock result. He will, of course, come back confident here. The Yeti Slayer at the top of the ramp. As I mentioned, he'll come in confident, knowing that he, of course, knocked off the number one potential contenders to the tag team titles with his Hardcore Champion tag team partner, the Mystery. He'll have to take great revelry in that. And you'll have to say as well, if he pulls off a shock upset here against the KEW champion, that he will put himself in a position where he'll have to be knocking on the door of the GM and saying, I need to be seriously considered in the number one contender stakes. And of course we do have a number one contenders match coming up later this evening that will see the Firefighter taking on the Man Crusher. And of course he's that man in the ring, as mentioned seconds ago, coming off a victory against the Man Crusher in the tag division. If he pulls off a victory here, you'd have to say he's got to be in the conversation for a number one contenders shot at some point. But whoever wins that match later, of course, will have the opportunity to take on the Skeleton King before the next main pay-per-view. And the Skeleton King there starting a little slow out of the gate, you'd have to say. It's as we mentioned last week, he was slow against the Budget Magician, and he's not looked a confident champion here. And look at this, the Yeti giving him a few kicks on the floor here, and that's a not particularly wise move against the Skeleton King. Oh, went for the clothesline but bounced off the Yeti, tried to run off the ropes for all momentum, and then gets caught by the Yeti early doors here, and now undergoes the Yeti, and over he goes now, gets hold of Mark and spins around, German suplexes him back onto the back of his head, and you can see he looks a bit reserved here. The Skeleton King gets a little hit in there, and now surely he's got to try and build some momentum. Can't though. Little kick there, and now he gets things going, springboarding off the Yeti and driving his head into the floor on a double stomp. Now he's taking out that aggression that potentially he had a little bit bottled up there, taking on the Yeti early doors. We know that Mark's a man who fights off the instinct and off of the fire in his belly, so as to put it. So the more wound up he gets in a contest, the more he'll see that as the potential to explode out and really take on an opponent And you have to say, the way he started against the Yeti here, he's opened the door for the Yeti to get a potential victory in. But he looks like he's slowly building momentum in this one, slowly getting angrier, which he's going to have to do to put the Yeti away. The Yeti, not an opponent who is to be taken lightly in the KEW. Going early doors here though, package pile driver there, driving the head off the floor, and oh my goodness me, that might be enough to put him away as it is, ladies and gentlemen. Drags him out of the corner, and surely he's going to go for the cover. The KEW champion delivering the package pile driver in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes to this match. Goodness gracious me, what kind of damage is that going to have done to Cody? As you can see, he looks woozy now getting up, but manages to get a boot in there. Misses the kick there though. Looked like he didn't know where his depth perception was. Another drop kick to the back of the skull. You can see what Mark is doing here, targeting the head of Yeti, trying to deliver the finishing blows early doors here. Goes for the kick again. The Yeti gets out of the way of that one. Maybe he's recovered a little bit here. Now rams the head of Mark into the floor and screams to the KEW faithful. It's looked like it could have been all over early doors there. Rolled up now though. Yeti bomb. Down goes Mark. Goes for the cover. 1, 2. Oh, and the KEW champion gets the shoulder up at the last second and springs back to his feet as if nothing at all hits him, bouncing out of the impact of that, and now whipped into the corner out of reversal and splashed out by the Yeti. It was a good opportunity early doors for the Yeti to get the victory there, and he'll know that he's disappointed that it was only a 2 count really. In the slow form from Mark again, rolls out of the ring for a breather, but the Yeti's not going to let him have it, jumping over and onto him from the outside. You can see it looks like he might have hurt that elbow on the outside. The Yeti taking the time now to take in the KEW faithful's applause and look across the commentary desk at the ghosts in commentary. Now rammed into the steps. Referee, you have to say that that's controversial action. This isn't a hardcore match. We're up to a 4 count, I think, on the outside, lifting him up, and the power on display from the Yeti. The KEW champion in trouble. Goes for the boot though, misses it as he jumps around. Oh, and the DDT on the outside again, targeting the head of the Yeti here. Gets hold of him, and is he going to try and get him in the ring or deliver him to the steps? It looks like he's going for the ring. Rolls him in under the bottom rope and then climbs back in, hopping over the top rope at the last second. Oh, but gets caught out back into the ring. An exchange of chops of sorts and punches now from both men. The Yeti getting the upper hand though pretty quickly there. Mark looks tired in this one. I don't know what he's been doing. Maybe he was out partying with the KEW Championship. Now look at this, inviting the punishment on from the Yeti. I said he's a man who seems to feed off anger, and he looks like he's trying to do that here against the Yeti. A big shot there to his face, and now he's delivering the blows back. But again, he looks tired in that corner. These are not the blows of the KEW Champion, who looks like he's got it all left in the tank. There are the blows and chops of a tired looking man who looks like he's a little bit exhausted. Both men coming to blows here, digging deep in the tank. Here's the Yeti, as Mark and the Yeti going head to head here. The Skeleton King trying to run out of the way of the last second, slammed into the corner from the Yeti and out of it. He didn't have anywhere to go out of the corner, and now Mark's in a real trouble position here. The Yeti off the top rope, big splash, crushing the ribs of Mark. Now surely he's a Yeti driver away from putting him away here. Mark slow back to his feet. Can the Yeti put him away? With the Yeti driver goes after him. Oh, Mark with a kick to the guts at the last second, sees it coming. That might have been a suspiciously low kick, gets hold of him and flipping him round here. There we go, flips him round and drives him into the floor. The KEW champion digging deep once again against a lower ranked opposition. Had to do it last time around against the Budget Magician, and now this time around against the Yeti again. The drop kick to the back of the head, the stomp to the chest, driving the air out of the lungs again with that kick to the ribs. Hops over onto the outside here, climbs to the top rope. Is he going to look to put him away with the froggy splash? Gets froggy from the top corner, hooks the leg. The referee comes in for the count, slow for it too, and a kick out from the Yeti. Mark's going to be a little disappointed there, but he might go for it again off the ropes. Oh, moonsault there onto the ribs of the Yeti, driving the air out of it, and like that the momentum is switched in this one, ladies and gentlemen. It was all Yeti, and now Mark on the outside, counting down to the KEW faithful. Is he going to look to try and put the Yeti away? The package pile driver on the outside, I think he might do, ladies and gentlemen. Has the legs hooked, up he goes, down he comes, package pile driver on the outside, and surely now Mark's just got to either get him back in the ring and pin him, or look to put him away with something else on the outside, up to a 4 count now. Well, there we go, it's back in the ring. Surely it's just a matter of time now. I can't see how the Yeti will have enough left to get it. Oh, slides out through the ropes like a penguin, flying controversially close to the corner there. We were on a 5 count as well, and the KEW champion says, no, I'm not going to beat you that way. I want to deal more punishment. Flying out at a 5 count on a 2 count. He's got to be careful out here, because surely the longer he spends out here, the longer the Yeti's going to get to rest at some point. Driven down the outside now, up to a 4 count as he climbs back into the ring. Now he's going to take the time, a little jog around and wait for his opponent here, but he is in a dangerous position again, and is Mark going to go back after him on a 6 count here. He looks like he's weighing up the options, up to a 7. Can the Yeti get back to his feet? And look at this, he's saying no way, not a chance, showing off to the KEW faithful. The Yeti's up. I don't think he's realised. Now he's seen him back into the ring onto an 8 count. Double drop kick drives Mark back, but he was slow in realising that. Maybe he thought the Yeti didn't have enough left in the tank, as the Yeti goes for the cover, gets a 2, but a kick out from the KEW champion there, who's slow back to his feet, off the ropes. Oh, booted back down to the floor from the Yeti with those big Yeti boots, now driving the head of his magnificence, or sorry, the Skeleton King into the matting there. A little confusion over Mark's rebranding to the Skeleton King from, of course, the Mark the Majestic or the Magnificent from last season. Now on to the KEW's outside of the ring here, lifted high off the edge of the apron. Oh, and slams his back into the apron here, and you can see he thinks it's done now. The Yeti thinks he's done enough to put Mark away there, up to a 1 count, stomp to the spine as Mark rolls over. He's in real trouble here. If he takes a Yeti driver, ladies and gentlemen, I could see that being the end for his magnificence. Outside clutching, looks like he's clutching his arse there. Reset the count does the Yeti as he follows back out of the ring. He wants to inflict more punishment, rolling the legs around now, going after the knee here, trying to wrench that knee joint of the KEW champion and do the lasting damage that he can there. You see him sitting on the outside. He looks visibly shaken up here, the KEW champion, sent back into the ring from the Yeti, and surely the Yeti's going to look to put this one away here, ladies and gentlemen. Chop as he tries to get back to his feet, and another one. Mark rolls out of the way, jumps around, just about gets hold of him, spring DDT, drives him down to the ground here, ramming the arm into the canvas, and has Mark timed the last burst of energy successfully enough here, ladies and gentlemen. Snap neck breaker there, lets the Yeti crawls to the corner, takes the top turnbuckle off. I'm not so sure why he needs to do that. Oh, baseball slide right into the knee. I thought it was in the crotch there. Went for a second one, it looked like, as well. And you can see the Yeti discomforted by that. Rolls into the corner, but it doesn't look like there's any breather for him. Oh, Mark, he went for something special there. Oh, gets clotheslined for good measure, and now rolled over by the KEW. Pretend there it is. The Yeti goes for the 2, 3. There it is. And his magnificence has lost here to the Yeti. He won't be pleased with that. Absolute shocking display here. The KEW champion given the belt back. He doesn't look pleased. Oh, hang on a minute. The firefighter's down to the ring, ladies and gentlemen. He enjoyed that showing. And look at this. The KEW champion puts the championship on his belt, on his shoulder, and the firefighter says, I'm coming for that belt, son. I just saw you lose to the Yeti. That's going to be my KEW championship. Mark doesn't look particularly confident in this display, but look at this. He's mugging it off to him, saying, I'm still the KEW champion. It doesn't matter if those Peabodys beat me like the Yeti. I'm the champ. Come and take it if you think you can. Goodness gracious me, a real showdown there, ladies and gentlemen, between Mark and the firefighter. We'll have to see if the firefighter can get the job done later this evening. Of course, he is our final match for the evening. He'll be taking on one half of the power couple, the Man Crusher, see if he can get the KEW championship shot that he is asked for there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll focus, though, on our next match for this evening. And this one is a triple threat match. This might go the distance, ladies and gentlemen. It's got 3 real big competitors in it, and it's going to be a real slobber knocker, we feel. This is a battle for the power rankings, following the theming of this evening, really. Of course, the KEW power ranks are all to play for now. The Yeti, of course, will have put the cat amongst the pigeons. He's already, of course, knocked off the tag team to be in the tag team championship match, and now defeating the KEW champion last time around. He'll be saying, I should be in the next one of these that come around for the number 2 competitor spot, surely. And he'll be hard pressed to argue that It is a time where we've seen the Yeti refine into form for the Royal Rumble. He, of course, last time around eliminated that man there in the KEW ring for the Royal Rumble rankings, if it were. And there's the man who won last year's Rumble, of course, and took the KEW's Hardcore Championship as a result. So he didn't break up the tag team, couldn't regain the tag team championships. And of course, Big Bird ultimately lost the KEW title, a title that changed hands multiple times before that man there, having lost the KEW Hardcore Championship, gained the KEW Championship. He, of course, would later lose that championship to the Man Crusher, who is in action next, ladies and gentlemen, in our final match for the evening. He will, of course, know that this is a good opportunity for him to push himself back up the KEW Power Rankings, though. Having lost the KEW Championship, he knows that he'll have to win and win well here in order to get himself back to being where he should be in the KEW. And talking of where someone who thinks they should be higher in the KEW than they are, is our last man for the evening, making his way down to the KEW ring, ladies and gentlemen. This man who's had spotted form of recent. We've seen, of course, the slumps from him in the past. Yet to regain the real form that's seen him glide to the top of the KEW Power Rankings and become the KEW champion. The Tange man showing off for the KEW faithful. He looks confident here, you'd have to say, but is that going to be overconfidence in on his part that's going to allow to an undoing? Is it going to lead to a downfall for him, ladies and gentlemen? Only time will tell, you have to say. He does look confident, though, for now. Whether that confidence is misplaced, we will shortly find out. He has, of course, taken on Atomic Andy multiple times in the past and the Assassin, and he doesn't have a continuously great record against either of them. So it's not going to be two opponents that he's going to particularly love seeing in the ring with him. But that's not going to stop him from giving it a damn good go here, ladies and gentlemen. And if he's able to pull off a Tange knockout or a Tange to sleep, then that could be all the difference. That could be the real difference maker in this evening's action, ladies and gentlemen. Paul there fired up and ready to go, and nice shot of the referee with Tange there as well from the KEW cameraman. Immediately Tange flying out, goes straight after Andy, clobbers him down to the floor. Maybe he sees him as the strongest man in the ring, the biggest man certainly, and the one he'll have to take care of course. The Assassin and Andy have many a heated rivalry in the past, not to mention, of course, the Spring Roll Derby and, of course, the bad, ill-tempered tag team battles between the Safety Men and the Falcon and the Eagle that we saw in the tag division. Tange again targeting Atomic Andy early doors. He wants to get rid of him so he can get his hands on the Assassin. The Assassin looks like he just wants to get rid of Tange so he can get his hands on the Atomic Andy, and Atomic Andy looks like he's got eyes only for the Assassin as well, but Tange trying to get involved in this one. He knows perhaps that there is the big bad blood between Atomic Andy and the Assassin, and he's going to have to get in between it to try and force his way into the match. He was sensible, really. He should sit back in this one, let Atomic Andy and the Assassin take each other out. But that's not his style. He wants to dominate both athletes, it looks like here, and he's doing a good job of that early doors so far. Knee to the back of the head. Now Andy off the rope, slamming Tange down and showing the power on display there. Maybe it's that explosive power that Tange was careful and wary of in the opening exchange of this one. You can see out under the ring goes the Assassin, pulling the kendo stick out, and Andy's not seen him. Kendo stick right across the guts there and across the back on the floor, and the Assassin fired up with a kendo stick, attacking the knee of Atomic Andy in the ring. Now look at that, targeting the knee, targeted shots to the knee area. Now Tange flips him over, reverse Boston Crab. Is he going to tap? The referee is down, and I couldn't tell if he was investigating the tapping or just having a sniff of the crotch area of the Assassin there. Maybe it's a little sweaty in those robes, who knows what goes on in those. The Assassin hops out of the ring smartly there. Good ring awareness from him, allowing both men to go after one another, and the Assassin to stay as the freshest man here as Tange slumps into the corner, and Atomic Andy has hold of the assassin via the back of the neck. It looks like he's dancing him around, strangling him about here by the back of the shoulders, maybe giving him sort of massage, sent him to sleep there, relaxed him down to the matting, but he's up quickly, stiff and ready to go is the assassin, as always. Round and rolls now into the assassin's twist down, he goes there, or the falcon's edge, or the eagle's edge if you like. The feet around the head as the Tanj on the outside, looking for something under the ring now, pulls out a secondary kendo stick as he's splashed into the corner as the assassin lifted high, and Atomic Andy, well, he must have seen him now with a kendo stick waiting, Tanj twisting around there, and Tanj, oh, kendo stick to the face, bouncing off there, but Andy has enough wherewithal about him to see the assassin coming as well. Oh, the kendo stick snaps across the assassin's face, Tanj rolls him over and goes for the cover for a sneak victory. 2, gets a kick out at 2 though. Good resilience from the assassin. He'll have to show plenty of that in this match here. Hurricanranas the Tanj down. The Tanj timing that perfectly, if you like, though. Gives the kendo shot to Andy. He has to roll out of the ring for a breather, and then breaks the kendo stick over the head of the assassin. Drives the assassin down to get the pinfall. Another kendo stick here. All 3 men want to get kendo mad in this one. Down goes the Tanj, and here comes more kendo shots to the back of the assassin. And now as Atomic Andy timed it perfectly as the assassin rolls out of the ring smartly there, but like who could have been in real trouble as Andy lifts Tanj high and slams him down on top of the broken shards of the kendo stick, and still the full one in the ring from the assassin earlier. The Tanj up quickly, drives the back into the spine of the Tanj as now the assassin upgrades to a baseball bat. He says, no more toying around with these kendo sticks. How about you introduce you to my friend Mr. Bat. Here we go, across the head of Tanj, across the stomach of Atomic Andy, and Andy rolls out of the ring again for a breather. Tanj with the cover. Who's the assassin on the Tanj, gets a 1 count, and he's up quickly to try and break things up. Didn't have to in the end as Tanj rolls into the corner here. He's taken a bit of a battering early doors here, and so has the assassin as he's carried around like a baby. The referee in the corner blocking the way though. That's got to be surely involvement from the referee. He's still trying to get out of the way. Flips over there dangerously close to that baseball bat on the floor, and now gets over to Tanj. Hurricanranas him down again right next to the baseball bat. Goes for the cover but broken up by Andy, who got up quickly back to his feet there. Saw the assassin trying to take advantage as Tanj keeps himself in the ring, crawls up the ropes here, and Andy sees him dragging himself on the ropes, gets the hitting, gets the bat now, and Tanj he should have rolled out of the ring. Poor ring awareness from him. You can see the assassin doing just that, and now he's taken the toll out on him as Andy tries to take advantage at the last second here with the pinfall, but the assassin's back to his feet and quickly breaks that one up there. Whips him into the corner, and the assassin gets hold of the bat, taking it straight to the face of the big fella in the corner here. As Tanj rolls out of the way of that bat hit and missing again, rips the bat now off the assassin, hits him square in the guts with it, goes for him across the back. Oh, gets him in the face with it though. Now Andy in the corner as Tanj will look to deliver the bat to him. He does. Oh, Andy rips it off of him though and gives him the bat to the guts. Oh, as everybody gets a chance to the bat now, to the back of Tanj, and now to the front of his head. Off the ropes goes the assassin. Oh, missing horribly. Now everyone's got their attention on the assassin all of a sudden. Tanj knockout blow. There it is. Out of nowhere, the Tanj KO out of nothing, flying through the air, and now Andy might see this as the opportunity as the assassin rolls out of the ring. If the Tanj can build on the momentum though, can he get a hold of Andy and deliver another Tanj knockout out of nothing? Puts him on the shoulders. The power of the Tanj on display. Look at this, and he's not going to drop down. He is Tanj to sleep. Down and out goes Atomic Andy. He could be out for the count here. Gets a 1 count there, but a swift break up from the assassin. Good awareness from the assassin there. Gets the Tanj knockout. Oh, assassin's edge. Oh, right on top of the baseball bat as well. Bouncing off the bat here, goes for the cover. 2. Oh, kicks out at the last second. Atomic Andy back to his feet to try and recover at the last second as well. And now Andy scoops up and throws him over. Oh, he lands on top of the bat as well. You see him clutching the back there, right next to that baseball bat. I don't know if he got it in the spine or not. He's bounced back up quickly though, has the assassin, as Andy's now dragging Tanj around the ring. Gets the shot to his spine, lifts him high onto the shoulders here, gives him an yes. Oh, gave him the atomic driver. He delivered his own special to him. Goodness gracious me. The power on display from the assassin gets the 3 count, and he's got to be waiting in the wings now. Surely, ladies and gentlemen, an impressive victory from the assassin here. Yeti's going to be looking at that, and surely that's got to set up that man taking on the Yeti now, ladies and gentlemen, next week in the KEW. That's got to be on the cards, and it's got to be for the number 2 contender spot. Another victory, you'd have to say, for the assassin against the Yeti, and that'll put him in a number 1 contender spot. Then it'll have to be for whoever it will be that'll win the title in the coming weeks in the KEW. We know we're going to have a title match coming up next week, ladies and gentlemen, but who will it be? Will it be the firefighter? Will it be the man crusher? Ladies and gentlemen, only time will tell. We're only a few moments away from finding out the answer to that question. And here you can see the man crusher ring. Oh, Mark flying out of the locker room. Well, we saw earlier on this evening the firefighter confronting Mark, and Mark comes flying out of the locker room, hammers him in the back, bounces his face off these steel steps here, and the man crusher has been giving a golden opportunity here. Mark clearly doesn't want to face the firefighter. The referee checking on him and saying, oh, he's still good to go. Here goes the bell, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the firefighter's not going to be happy with that one. Flying out of the blocks over the crossbody. You can see he looks angry and fired up now. That could have worked in both ways here, ladies and gentlemen. The man crusher could, of course, beaten the firefighter on her own terms, but now he's angry and fired up with the attack of the little man out of the locker room. The KEW champion flying down the ramp to attack the firefighter, clearly with a motive in mind to try and get the upper hand for the man crusher, as he clearly doesn't want the firefighter being the number 1 competitor. And oh, clothesline back out of the ring by the man crusher, and that's the power on display that you have to watch out for with the man crusher. She can flip things on its head any moment. Talking about on the head, bouncing the head now off the KW mat and then delivering the shot right to the face. She knows she's been given a real gift here. I'm not so sure it was the wisest move really from His Majesty the Skeleton King, delivering the early blow to the firefighter. All he's really done is fire up the firefighter, and if the man crusher gets through, well, that's still a troubling proposition. If he couldn't get a win earlier this evening over the Yeti, then he's definitely not going to get a win over the man crusher one-on-one, I would say, ladies and gentlemen. That one you could almost certainly say that the title will be changing hands, although they do have very different KEW styles, you'd have to say. Both of these athletes much more power athletes, much slower in their approach to the match. The firefighter has the stamina to go the course, of course, of anyone in the KEW, and the man crusher likes to play it close, keep her opponents close and tight into her, work with the power that she has on display with those gigantic forearms, and use that to her advantage as much as she can. You can see here, off the rope she goes, rolling round, gets hold of him and spins him round, chucking him down. Good movement and athleticism from the man crusher. She goes for the early cover and a kick out there from the firefighter. Good power from him as well, tossing the man crusher off to one side. Now lures her to the outside as well. Good awareness there from the firefighter, allowing the opponent to come to him and not allowing the earlier distractions, the earlier attack, to really get into his head too much here, ladies and gentlemen. Dropping the elbow now on the outside. The firefighter fired up here, ladies and gentlemen, ramming the elbow of the man crusher straight into the matting on the outside of the KW ring. Oh, and into the stairs goes the man crusher now too, going for the stomp. Couldn't quite connect with it there. Scoops her up and slams her down though, driving the air out of the lungs of the man crusher. Now dusting off the fingers and the fist as he delivers the fist right to the face of the man crusher onto a 7 count on the outside now, ladies and gentlemen. Throws the man crusher down. This could be all over early doors here. Onto an 8 count, climbs back into the ring. We know he loves the count out victory. Onto a 9. The referee wants the man crusher up, but it's not going to happen in time, is it, ladies and gentlemen? There's your 10. There's your victory. There is your number 1 competitor. It is the firefighter. He'll get his shot at the KW title next week. You can see what it means to him, ladies and gentlemen. He's fired up. He's ready. Goodness gracious me. It must be a real shock to the KW champion backstage. He'll be watching on saying, what the hell was that? Where was the fight? Where was the passion from the man crusher? And I don't want to deal with that firefighter man there. Next week in KW, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have our title match. We will see, can the Skeleton King cling on to the belt, or will it be changing hand, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Thank you and good night.